Good morning, fam. Modern Day Caveman here. Today, I'm gonna do. It's not really a promo, but it's an acknowledgement video because it was a good video. It was a good book. It was a very good book, and it was an interesting story, and it's a common story. So, but people don't hear about it often. And it's a book called "Done All the Time" by Miss AQUEELAH SALAAM. And it's the story is basically a story of her son and the struggles that she went through as a mother and the struggles that the family went through and the friends and loved ones, and mostly of the injustices that her son went through because he was implicated in one crime, and they arrested him. Well, they really didn't even arrest him. They just picked him up for one crime, and while he was being charged with one crime, they indicted him on a different murder, that he wasn't related to, but he, the way that it sounds is that he knew something about it, and they offered him a plea deal to if he testified against the guy that actually did the murder, that they would give him a lesser sentence because he was charged with like complicity to murder, and he refused to testify, so they railroaded him and gave him. They gave him a 18 to life sentence for not testifying, and the guy that actually did the crime got less time than he did. It was crazy. It was just crazy, and her struggles to not give up on the process of getting him out, and she ended up, going through a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of frustration and tears, and the way that she described some of the situations in the prison system and how the prison treats visitors. Because I remember my mom was she visited me a few times, and it wasn't a lot. She didn't come visit me a lot, and I was always wondering why she never came and visit me, because I felt some kind of way. I'm gonna be honest, I felt some kind of way about my mom not coming to see me, and when I finally got back to Ohio and she was able to come see me, like she could actually come see me. She visited me when I was in Texas once, and then she visited me mostly when I got back to Ohio. She came and visited me a few times, but she said, do you know why I don't come visit you often? And I was like, no, I don't, because I was curious about why that wasn't happening. And she said because it's because every time I leave, it takes away my heart, like it just snatches pieces of my heart, and I can't stand to see you incarcerated and locked up and in the cage. And she said, when I was visiting your dad when he was in prison, and the whole time that he was in prison, I hated it. I hated going and visiting. I hated the whole situation. So when he got out of prison and we was driving away from the prison, she said she turned around and she looked back at the prison. She said, I ain't never coming back to this MF again. Right? And she left. And then when I got locked up, the first time that I ever got locked up, they sent me right to the same prison that he was in. And I got a picture. I got a picture of me and my dad in prison. I'm gonna put it in this video, so it's painful. It's painful to know that that I put my mom through that, because I could blame somebody else for me going to prison, and it would be easy for me to point the finger and say it's because of them or it's because of him or her or whatnot. But ultimately, I was the one that made the decisions that led me to prison, and ultimately, the last crime that I committed it warranted me going to prison. I should have went to prison. Like, I knew the consequences of what I was doing, and I knew the repercussions, and I did it anyways, and I did because I really didn't care. I said my ideology at that time was, if I'm gonna go to prison, I'm gonna go to prison for something I deserve to go to prison for. So so when they caught me and they sentenced me, I was like, hey, okay. And I remember talking to my case managers the whole time that I was in prison. They were like, dude, like, you got a great attitude, like you accept your sentence. And I was like, yeah, because I'm guilty. I know what I was doing. I knew the consequences. But thank God that I made it through, because I was in some prisons that were very rough, like really, really rough, really violent. And I was able to make it through. And I remember there were times where I would call my mom after we'd been on lockdown, and I'd tell her what happened, and she was scared to death that something was going to happen to me. And to be honest, so was I. I was scared too, because some of the prisons that I were in were like, they were very violent, extremely violent, and I made it. I made it. I came out relatively healthy, relatively, and in my right mind, sort of. But the book is called Done All the Time, and what it means is it's like a play on words. Like, it's done all the time, mean like she's done all the time that her son did. She did the time, and the family did the time with him. But it's also a statement that's made in the court system, in the judicial process, when they say, oh, we do this all the time. This is done all the time, because they do railroad and coerce men and women and people of low income to take these plea bargains. And that was the truth of the matter. Is that's how I even got caught up in the system in the first place. Is I took a plea bargain for something that I like. If I could go back and redo it all over again, I would have took the case to trial. I should have took my case to trial instead of taking a plea bargain. But my lawyer and a paid attorney at the time told me that you're a black man, you shot a white man in a white town with a stolen gun, and you ain't gonna get a jury of your peers. You take this to trial, you're gonna get 8 to 25. That's what you're gonna get, and you're gonna have to do at least 5, 6. What did he say? 7. He said you're gonna have to do 7 years before you even get considered to see the parole board. He said, now they're offering to give you this probation, and you get out in 90 days. Take this deal, dude, or you're going to prison, basically, is what he said. And, at that time, nobody knew nothing about the justice system and how they coerce, especially young black men. They coerce you into taking these plea bargains and these deals, and you just don't understand the repercussions and how it turns you into a second-class citizen. So, but at any rate, this book, Done All the Time, man, by Miss Salaam, you should read it. It's really, really, it was a quick read. It was an easy read. It's easy to follow. It's an endearing story, because she triumphed. She never lost faith, man. She's Mama Bear for real. Like, she never gave up on her son. Never. She never gave up on him. And she was. I think it was some guilt involved in the whole situation too, because she really called him her lust child. That's what she called him, and she really wasn't excited about the pregnancy to begin with. But that's all in the story. You should really, really check it out. It's a really good book, really good, easy read. It was an easy read. Like, it was like only a few hours. It took me only a few hours to read the book, and it was really good. It was really good. It was a good story, and I can't wait to meet the young man, actually. And I got invited to her house for dinner. We're going to her house for dinner, and like it's weird, because I've never been invited to a Muslim's house before. Like I've met Muslims in prison, but I've never really interacted with Muslims on like out here in the free world, and they just seem so warm and so nice and kind. So I'm excited to go visit them. So, but go check out the book. It's called Done All the Time by Gwendolyn AQUEELAH SALAAM. It's a really good book. It has my stamp of approval. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the notification button. You know I gotta do it. Remember, God loves you, so do I. Peace.